Well, once again, coming out of the bye, the Colts made a flurry of roster moves, including signing two-time Pro Bowler back to the Colts, which is, I think, a surprising move, not one that I expected. But we're going to cover all that and more on this video. What's going on? It's Elijah from Sports Talk Indy, where we cover all things Colts every single day. And whether it's behind the scenes or breaking news, be sure to like and subscribe. The Colts made several roster moves today, and specifically on the practice squad. We talked about this partially yesterday as we were suspecting that the Colts were going to sign defensive tackle Chris Wormley. That officially did go through, but they also signed several other guys and released several guys. Now, one of the ones that I think was most surprising was probably the one that we got a two-time Pro Bowler off the practice squad that is now going to be available for the Colts to use specifically in the special teams department. Let's go through these player by player. So the first one is Viliami Fehoko Jr. This one's not a surprise. He has bounced off and on the Colts practice squad so far this year. Also, Eli Pincole, Chris Wormley, which again we talked about yesterday. And then here's the Pro Bowler. The Pro Bowler that the Colts are bringing in is George Odom. Now, you probably remember this name because George Odom spent a majority of his time with the Colts for several seasons. He's 6'1", 202 pounds. He rejoins the Colts after spending the first 4 seasons with the team. He came over as an undrafted free agent. He played 105 career games, 12 starts in his time with the San Francisco 49ers, of which he played from 2022 to 2024. He compiled 119 tackles, 92 solo, 1 tackle for loss, 9 passes defensed, 3 interceptions, and 4 forced fumbles, 2 fumble recoveries, and 81 special team stops. Now, this is where I think the Colts are really going to value a guy like George Odom, and that is going to be specifically in the special teams departments. Both fumble recoveries, or since entering the NFL in 2018, Odom ranks 3rd in the NFL in special teams tackles. He also has appearances in 9 postseason contests and has registered 2 solo tackles, 1 tackle for loss, and 3 special team stops. Odom has earned Associated Press First Team All-Pro in 2020, Second Team All-Pro in 2022. In 2020, he led the Colts with 20 special teams tackles, which tied for the 5th most in franchise single-season history since 1994. This is, I think, where the Colts are really going to value a guy like Odom, especially as they look to get a guy like Travarius Ward back. Special teams, that's going to be where games like this are going to be really, really won. And I think that when you're talking specifically in the punt game, when you're talking in the kickoff game, the Colts are going to be in a lot of these situations, hopefully. Hopefully, they're going to be kicking the ball quite a bit, specifically on kickoffs, not punts, but in kickoffs. And I think that when you're looking for a guy who's going to be able to lock him up, this is a guy that has experience doing so. Again, this is a 2-team, first team All-Pro and second team All-Pro. And I think there's no better guy when this is a need. This is a need for the Colts, is a need for most teams, especially as the kickoff is more dynamic now than it has been in years past. You're seeing more guys break free for longer kickoff returns. And so I think the Colts are realizing that need, realizing that that's a need not only on this team, but on multiple teams. So signing a guy who's a bigger guy. I mean, Odom, he's 6'1", 202, a bigger guy for a free safety. Having a guy like that who has good 'ability to make stops, I think, is really big. Now, here's where some of the other ones that I was kind of surprised. Eli Pincole, I think, was the one that I was most surprised about. 6'3", 205. I mean, he's a pretty big dude. He participated in the Colts 2025 local pro day. He spent time with the Jacksonville Jaguars offseason program, and after signing with the team as an undrafted free agent, he saw action in 57 career games, 27 starts at Duke, and compiled 137 receptions for 1,710 yards, 14 touchdowns. He also registered 7 carries for 40 yards and 2 touchdowns. This is a guy that I think the Colts are looking for depth pieces in these positions, and this might not result in anything. Again, this is an undrafted free agent. He spent time with the Jags, spent time with the Colts, and I think this is just a depth piece for the Colts. I think this is just adding some more guys. He kind of fits the bill specifically in these explosive plays. He has a 13.2 average per reception, which I think is very, very good. So I think this is a good thing. Also, the very interesting to bring in a guy from Duke. You don't see a lot of Duke wide receivers. That's not usually wide receiver university. We talked about Fehoko a couple weeks ago on a video where Fehoko is one. He's 6'4", 267, so pretty big dude. And he is a defensive end. Valami Fehoko Jr. He participated in the Washington Commanders 2025 offseason program and training camp. Then he spent time on the Commanders practice squad in 2024, and then also was a part of the Dallas offseason program and training camp. He was a rookie in 2023. He spent the entire season on the Cowboys injured reserve list. He was originally selected by Dallas in the 4th round, 129 overall of the 2023 draft. He's out of San Jose State. So again, this is another guy the Colts are really looking to bolster this defensive line and get as much depth in this position as possible. I think that they're really, really looking at just bringing in depth in some of their weaknesses, and defensive line is definitely one of them. One of these guys goes out. There's not a lot of depth right now, so even though these might not seem like really big moves, they definitely will have a lasting impact, especially if push comes to shove and we don't have DeForest Buckner back in Week 15. If we don't get guys like Samson Ebukam back, we're going to need these depth pieces, and I think the Colts are making really good moves in these. Now, let's talk about the guys that they let go. So they let 3 guys go. Meng Pride Jr., who is the cornerback, Max Meng, who is the tight end, and then Tano Kapasangon, who they released. They brought him in a couple weeks ago. He was the big guy. He was a defensive end, but really size-wise lines up much more with a defensive tackle, 6'7", 289. And he spent time with the Saints, the Chiefs. He has compiled 145 tackles, 23 tackle for loss, 17.5 sacks. Now, this is one that he really must have not shown a lot as much as the Colts were hoping. This is a guy who won a Super Bowl, and he spent time with the Saints and spent time with the Bears. And so I think that the Colts were really hoping to get more of that experience from him, and it really just didn't seem to pan out. Again, this is a practice squad guy. You don't know what you're getting. Sometimes you'll get these practice squad guys, and they're going to be gems. They're going to be diamonds in the rough. And then sometimes you get guys like this who just really aren't showing that they're head and shoulders above the rest. And the last one was Pride, who was 5'11", 195. He was signed to the team's practice squad October 7th. He played 17 career games with the Colts, Cowboys, Texans, Raiders, Saints, Panthers. Really bounced around practice squad and really hasn't had that much active playing time. He has had 44 tackles, 28 solo tackles, 1 tackle for loss, 3 passes defense, and 1 special team stop. And it really seems like the Colts are basically shot for shot bringing guys in and trading them out, as they signed defensive end, let one go. They signed a safety. They let go a cornerback, wide receiver, tight end. So there really seems to be where the needs are. The Colts are trying to fill these guys and get some depth in this position. All, I think, really good moves, especially as we get into this crucial final stage of the season. Colts are out of the bye, really hoping to get healthy, and I think that adding guys that are going to bring depth like this are going to be really good going forward.